Q97.1, Danny Salas, Afternoon Drive. As promised, I told you we were going to have a bona fide certified special guest live on Zoom. I want to introduce to you young Victoria Monet. How you feeling?
Hey, what's up? I'm good.
Good intro, right?
Yes, that was amazing. I'm blushing.
I do my best. All right, so I kind of want to take our Q97.1 listeners on a little kind of career retrospective of Victoria Monet, if those aren't familiar with Victoria Monet. So number one, you're a West
Yes,
Coast chick, which I absolutely love, repping Sacramento,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely, 916.
I love it. So how does a girl from the 916 finally get her music on wax? Tell me the story.
Oh my goodness. A long, long journey, of course. But I really started in Sacramento recording with a producer that was local in Sacramento, and I would take a couple of trips back and forth to LA. And in doing my research on who I love, songs I love, I added this producer, Rodney Jerkins, who produces a bunch of my favorite songs, especially by Michael Jackson. I added him on MySpace. And
MySpace, see, you're
like,
dating it now. You're giving
yeah.
this whole timeline situation MySpace, all right?
Yes, to the beginning. It was a MySpace ad, and
Right.
maybe a week later, I got an email saying, "Come audition for my girl group." So that really, when I made it into the girl group, is when I actually moved to LA. From there, I just kept trekking along daily, recording. My first record deal was with Motown Records with the girl group, and then I went to Atlantic Records as a solo artist, and now I'm independent with partnering with Tune, and also always strengthening my pen and writing for other artists. So
Yes, yes. What was that girl group that you started with at Motown?
it's called Purple Rain.
Nice. So let me ask you this. Was that the time you with Purple Rain, was that the time you looked at yourself in the mirror and you were like, you know what? Yeah, I think I can do this. I think I made it. I think this is it.
No, I mean, it was definitely a dream come true to sign to Motown because
Yeah.
my grandma, we would always listen to Motown, and it was always, it just felt nostalgic to me, and something that she would have been proud of. She actually passed the year I moved to LA. So when
Oh
that
wow.
happened, I was like, it has to be her, Angels.
Meant to be.
But I feel like I always have big dreams. So anytime I accomplish something, and it may be to my detriment, I'm always like to the next thing. Like, okay, so what else
Yeah.
is what else do I need to do? So I never really feel like I quote unquote made it. I'm happy to be doing what I love.
And always stay working. So a
Yeah.
lot of people may not know that you are behind some of the biggest artists on the radio. Like I've said a million times on the radio, female artists specifically were easily the MVPs of 2020, 2021. When everything
Right.
else shut down, radio didn't. Like music kept coming out, and you're
Right.
behind some of the hugest songs that were on the radio like during this whole pandemic.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Right? Well, I mean, it's like legit. It's your name was associated with some of the biggest hits on radio.
Oh, I'm flattered, and it's a blessing.
Right?
It's really a blessing. Yeah, the whole world was going through a lot, and so I'm blessed enough to have a career that I can still do, in a time like this, and try to use it to give people an escape. I think that's what my new record Coastin was meant to do, is really just take people out of the quarantine energy, and try to give them this feeling of outside, the
Cool.
sunshine.
I like it. Well, we radio guys call that a segue. You mentioned it. Let's talk about coasting. Let's talk about coasting. Since we are repping the West Coast, we're repping the 916 and the 559. Coasting,
Yes.
from a first listen, I was like, this one is an official Sunday cruising track right here. This is a West Coast cruising song. That's the whole vibe,
I
right?
Absolutely. It's just top down energy,
Yes.
hair in the wind, free flowing, definitely good Sunday vibes. Roller skating, like anything that makes you feel free and happy. I
Heck
feel like
yeah.
Coastin kind of bundles that up. Spring, summer, fall energy for sure, which is crazy because I did it with the stereotypes in the wintertime.
Hmm. Right. Well, on the West Coast, there's literally like a month and a half where it's cold. So the winter time is a real small window anyway, right?
This is true. This is true. But being indoors in the studio, and it was also still mid-pandemic,
Yeah.
so I really had to kind of imagine a world that I wanted to exist in, and through song. And so, Coastin was that for me.
And now it's like the official anthem. How fun was that music video?
So fun. It was so fun. I mean, it
Man,
was extra special to me because my grandpa's in it, my mom's in it.
that's cool.
Yeah, and I've always wanted to work with one of the lead roles, Ricky Thompson. And we got to do a little bit of acting. It was fun, super fun.
That's awesome. And you could tell, like, it just coming out. That's why that is. I mean, we're hitting into the fall, but still, it's a summertime anthem, even into the fall. It's the song right now. It's cool.
Thank you so much. I mean, I plan to bring it back next spring and summer, the same way that I listen to Mary Jane Girls or Groove Theory year after year. I feel like every time summer, spring rolls around, we play Coastin.
Right? And I'm glad you brought that up too, because the vibe, I mean, you said you grew up on Motown, but the vibe of this joint Coastin is definitely that whole 90s R&B sound. You had to have been influenced. You had to have a bunch of favorite 90s R&B groups, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is my childhood, 90s, so
Right?
I'm so inspired always. I think one of my biggest influences from the 90s and early 2000s is Missy Elliott, just because
For sure.
her duality, being a songwriter and an artist, and I feel her in that way. So definitely inspired by 90s artists, which I think they were inspired by 70s, 60s artists, so it all kind of makes sense.
The circle of life, baby.
That's
You
right.
know, I wanted to ask you, speaking of the songwriting aspect, I remember listening to an interview with Sia, and she was like, you know what? Once I write these songs, give them to an artist, they record it, it's no longer my songs. Do you feel that way, or do you like listen to the radio and you're like, you know what? Yeah, that's mine, or it's still like a part of you, even though you may have written it for somebody else. Do you still feel like it's kind of yours, or is that just, hey, that's
I mean, I
transaction
wouldn't
over?
say, I feel like with music in general, even my own music as an artist, once I give it to the world, it's for the world to dissect. But I do obviously have so many memories. When the songs come on, I remember creating them. It makes me proud to hear, because there was a time where I was an underdog and I wanted to be on radio. I wanted people to hear my music so bad. So it's always just a really, it brings a lot of gratitude when I hear the songs and hear people sing them and know them and be able to go to certain concerts and see arenas like singing it. It just means so
Right.
much to me. So, definitely, I wouldn't say mine, but you know, grateful to have been a part of the records for sure.
And do you typically, when you sit down to write, I don't know what your process is, but are you thinking of a specific artist in mind when you're writing a song? Like, yeah, this would sound so good coming out of this person.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes. I mean, I think Rihanna's a really good example of it's a certain style and tonality in her voice where you're like, oh, I would love to hear this tone. But then sometimes artists surprise you and you're like, oh, I never thought this artist would be interested in this song, but that's really dope that they're doing something different than they used to do. So I kind of try to stay open minded, but there are some sessions where I'm like, yeah, this would be amazing for this person. Just trying to manifest some things.
Right? And then when it actually works out, you're like, yeah, I knew it. Right?
Right, right. Yeah.
I think that's cool. Well, I know you got limited time, but obviously I want to talk to you about albums. So this actually probably what last month was like the 1 year anniversary of Jaguar, right?
Yes,
So
Jaguar Part One. Man, it's this year was so much has happened, and I'm glad that there's going to be a part two, because I feel like just because I wasn't able to tour Jaguar Part One and see and touch people and do all the things to promote the project, Jaguar Part Two is extra special because it brings that back, and so I'll be able to do that this round. Planning to tour early 2022.
yes, right?
Hopefully. So yeah, so I'll be performing songs of Jaguar Part One, and Jaguar Part Two will include Coast as well. So
Sweet. And
um,
I can't bring up Jaguar Part One without bringing up a song called "Ass Like That."
yes.
Super dope song. Had me looking over my shoulder though when I was watching it at work, because definitely not safe for work. The video. but that right, dynamite.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I mean, women go hard in the gym too, so I think that was just an anthem for us,
Right.
And I think that song will be relevant every January when we're writing our new our New Year resolutions, like, I'll get back in the gym.
That's
So,
right.
yeah, it's something for everybody on Jaguar.
And again, like just me personally, I'm a big fan. I'm a sucker for like kind of romantic sounding, slow, sultry R&B songs that
Yeah.
have like a PG-13 message or some cuss
Yeah,
words. And
yeah, yeah.
Victoria Monet, you are definitely that. I love that about you.
Thank you so much. Someone was telling me before that they had played it for their grandma and she loved it, but
Right?
she doesn't know what I'm talking about, which is amazing. I love that. I mean, I feel the same way about like classics like Marvin Gaye, Let's Get It On. Now that I know he was like talking about Let's Smash, I'm
Right?
like, oh,
At that time? Wow. Right?
yeah, yeah, but it sounds beautiful, and I feel like that's what it's kind of. I like the juxtaposition where it sounds so elegant and elevated, but it's kind of freaky, just a
Right?
little
And
bit.
it's
So,
fun. It's so
yeah,
fun.
yeah, that's 2021,
That's it. Well, I just want to say, before I let you go, you are one of the few artists who, I mean, you've been super honest and open with fans about everything, personal life. Congratulations, by the way, on your brand new baby. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, of course. But you're open
Yeah,
with relationships, open with your sexuality. What is
yeah.
it? What inside you kind of just makes you so comfortable to let us all in like that? Because a lot of artists might be a little standoffish.
I almost feel like I still do have a lot of things that I'm not completely open about. Although it may seem like that's a lot of information, there's still
Right?
so many parts of my life that I film and do that I don't really. I sometimes feel guilty about it because if I go on social media and people are like on Instagram live and posting photos every day, and I'm not really that as active, so I do feel like a little bit differently. But
Gotcha.
I try to be honest where I can, and not overshare. And really, it's all the tea is in the music.
That's
It's
it.
like you want to know my mind, and you just listen to the songs I write and my project, and you'll hear it all.
I dig it. Well, man, I just want to say again, as a fan, I appreciate the time and I love you for your music. You're definitely going
Thank
to see those Coastin spins at Q97.1 in Fresno, which is a beautiful thing.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh,
My my boyfriend's family is from Fresno, so I'll be
hey,
excited to know that they hear coasting on Q.
yeah, heck yeah, that's cool. Well, you know we're all family, West Coast, from the 916
Right.
to the 559. It's all family, right?
That's right. And I'll be up that way too. I'll stop in for tour and stuff. So I'll see you.
All right, we're going to hold you to it. Victoria
That's
Monet,
right.
I appreciate you and good luck with absolutely everything. Stay safe out there.
Thank you so much.